Hello everyone! This is Arcadia Group with the lovely landowner Anna from Arcadia, Greece, Emma from the UK and a little bit of Ibiza, China from Alaska, Jack from Ireland and Kenya, Nicholas from Belgium, and Richard from Hungary and now lovely Spain. For roles and responsibilities, we have Anna the dream maker, Emma the architect, myself the plant and pond researcher, Richard the mushroom man, Nick the energy analyst, and Jack the lavender man. We're all going to walk you through this permaculture design on Anna's land.
The project, the way I envision it, consists of the following 3 stages. Initially, I would like to become food self-sufficient with a beautiful garden for me, my friends and family, a place to be present and reflect. I would like to grow vegetables, fruits, herbs, wheat, nuts, and have a few small animals to provide eggs and a small quantity of meat through permaculture, natural farming, and biodynamic principles. The second step will be to become a nursery, integration path to immigrant families, a place that will help them learn some principles of farming, maybe find a job, collaborate with local stakeholders, and grow futures through community. Furthermore, to make a lasting change, we have to inspire the youth. Summer camps, local children interacting with children from other countries through hands-on farming, survival seminars, and more like lessons from locals on herbs, edible wild greens, etc. Here you can see the existing site. It's an acre of flat land that is ready to be put to use, and roughly an acre of inclined rocky land. There are 3 buildings for lodging and storage, and water catchment from the roof. The place is an isolated, beautiful village, abandoned after the Second World War because of migration to United States, Australia, and Greek cities. It's very close to the local town of Tripoli, Arcadia, and lies at an elevation of 880 meters above sea level. The site sits the edge of a village which has been practically deserted for 50 years. The land is quite virgin. Back in the old days, there used to be a large community of farmers growing mainly vegetables, fruit, but also having livestock, mainly sheep and dairy products.
The land is fertile with existing forest, on-site fruit trees planted, abundant rock and clay for cob and other design structures, and resident birds, wild animals, and Mediterranean/temperate fauna. There's also a blessed abundance of water. Design focuses include maximizing limited space via vertical gardening strategies, function stacking, making use of every microclimate where specific plants will thrive in dense layers. There are also many walnut trees with jugulone toxicity needing consideration. There's flooding and low drainage on site, and 3 years where summers can have limited work done. So we're going to maximize the opportunity to build structures in soil during this time, observation, and adaptation.
Now about the weather, we have warm summer, temperature autumn and spring, quite cold winter with frost overnight. A total rainfall of approximately 1 meter from autumn to spring. Wind is generally not strong, and the southern winds, which bring rains and warmth, can be strong, but they're uncommon and without seasonal pattern. We have large quantities of rainwater that flood the area, and no close-by water bodies.
Now for the design. Implementation will happen in stages. The first priority is water management, building the terraces on the inclined hill for water retention, building the ponds, and regenerating the soil with chop and drop species in all zones, with bare fertile ground. Species will include wild artichoke, geranium, borage, Siberian pea shrubs, nasturtiums, yarrow, dandelion, salsify, and lavender. See plant list for the rest of the plants. Terraces themselves will maximize water retention and percolation with their back angle design as they climb the east hill. Topographically, the design site is in the trough of a valley with a steep slope, making the terraces a game changer. After earthworks, cover crops will be planted that thrive in the drier, rocky soil to re-nutrify the soil and build the organic matter. At first, lavender terrace guilds will reign. Lavender Man, tell us all about him.
Of course, though lavender puts us to sleep with its calming, aromatic effect, this plant is far from boring. It is a best friend to nutrientless soil, its roots breaking it up for water percolation and the addition of organic matter for chop and drop. Its gentle purple flowers smell delicious to pollinators and is used in a variety of industries from human well-being to health and economy. Guilds planted on the terrace during years 1 and 2 feature lavender because of its good drainage and proclivity to full sun. Over time, they may even indicate a change in average moisture and water retention, a time to plant more water-loving species. Specifically, lavender striaceus will be planted after winter frost, for once it's established it will withstand frost to -5 degrees Celsius or less, perfect for the site's soil and climate. Lavender makes good companions with rosemary, thyme, and sage, cabbage, broccoli, kale, tomatoes, leeks, onions, and carrots. Lavender also makes us better friends with one another. Lavender's fragrance stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, or the tend and befriend response, or the rest and digest response, that communicates safety to the body. Therefore, lavender plays an essential role in establishing group cohesion in the community of Arcadia.
Terrace overflow will be used for surface water benefits. The first pond design, situated on the east of the main road, will be catching the diverted water from the north end of the terraces. This east side of the land is close to the edge of the existing forest, inviting local fauna such as birds, insects, frogs, and snakes. The design includes multiple layers to support aquatic plants and animals. On site, the dugout soil is going to be turned into a surrounding berm with cover crop herbs for stability and ecosystem function and food production. The second pond design, situated on the west side of the main road, will be catching the diverted water from the excess west side swales. The design is for seasonal fluctuation and seepage for irrigation into this plot. Extra water will also be collected in tanks. Next, we'll be putting in the diversion percolation bowls on the north of the terraces that will collect water for a tank and divert water flow to the east side pond. As soil building species grow, fruit tree gills will be planted. We have strategically grouped species to support one another using the 7-layer food forest strategy. We have guilds for the on-site cherry, pear, pomegranate, apple, and walnut trees. New species that are native and appropriate for Silimna's climate are the tagas trees, carob trees, the sweet acacia, Anagrus fotida, fig tree, and almond tree. An example of a tree guild is our nut tree guild. In the center we have almond. Underneath we have the Siberian pea shrub for windbreak and erosion control. We also have service berries, lavender for the herbaceous layer, thyme for the ground cover, and yarrow for the root layer. Another guild is our cherry tree guild. In the center we have the cherry tree, with underneath calendula, chamomile, chives, oregano and golden oregano, garlic, raspberries, and salsify as the root plant. The second and third year of the design will see the clearing of a portion of the soil building species while we integrate the site's produce guilds. Our guilds feature peas and tomatoes in vertical structures, potatoes, peppers, melons, squash, carrots, onions, elderberries, service berries, flowers, and plants that are jugular immune for around the walnut trees. There will also be a host of kitchen and medicinal herbs for making spice blends, teas, tinctures, and natural illness care for on-site. See the plant list in the accompanying documents for our more detailed plant plan and list. Emma will speak next about the structures we will include, like the outdoor kitchen, chicken coop, and eco huts for the terraces.
The outdoor kitchen comes into play during the hot, dry summers from May to September. All the produce of the farm comes through here and is either preserved, pickled, or cooked. Refugees are encouraged to experiment and prepare meals for the immediate community, as well as paying guests and students. It is hoped that visiting chefs will host open house culinary events and so attract clients from further afield to the farm. The kitchen includes a cool store plus a refrigerated section. Dish racks are arranged over the sinks to avoid the use of dishwashers and promote air drying. Higher racks above the cooking zones are allocated for drying herbs and medicinal plants from the farm. During the winter, the outdoor kitchen is designed to be sealed from the elements using pocket doors. The opposite action is employed during the summer, when the structure is allowed to remain entirely open, thus promoting the culinary community and learning space for all. The off-grid huts are on the terrace levels of Zone 4. Like the kitchen garden structures, they are constructed of hempcrete and locally felled pine wood. We intend to grow hemp in nearby fields, as well as on site where we will use it as a crop to regenerate the soil. The huts can be rented out in the summer months for extra revenue and are furnished either with bunks or double beds. They each have drawbridge-style doors that double as terraces. The huts are surrounded by advanced species, as water is retained on the terraces, such as Fraganio vesco, Cistus pink, Rosmarinus officinalis, and Aquila nobilis. The compost toilet and shower area service the huts, but cooking is encouraged in the outdoor cooking below, where fire is less of a hazard. The mushroom man Richard will share what will be grown in the northeast end of Zone 4 and 5. I've taken this chicken tractor's design from a regenerative farm in Girona that I visited a couple of weeks ago. Around 10 chickens use this and are moved every 3 weeks to new soil. A temporary fence is used to keep the chickens in check until the new hedges on Zone 4 have matured to provide a protective, natural boundary.
Outdoor spaces with threshing floors will host raised beds and vertical garden structures. There will be more vertical structures around the site to increase the acreage of produce while fixing nitrogen in the soil with the climbing pea plants. All guilds in Zone 0 to 3 will be planted in berms directly into the ground. This eases capturing mulch and easy maintenance for and access to plants on the berms, and the ability to weave beautiful walking patterns while maximizing the use of on-site resources. The north end of the terraces have their own timeline for the truffle mushroom production area, another star in iDesign.
Hello, so let's talk about mushrooms, shall we? This area will be about 2 ways to incorporate mushrooms in our plant. One is about wild mushrooms, and the other one is a truffle production and experiment. There is a very diverse mushroom landscape present on site and around the village. We plan to facilitate the spread of these species through environmental optimization, cloning, and spawning from spores. Later on, we want to incorporate mushroom workshops in our community projects as well. But our primary design focus is truffle production in a permaculture setting. Both the microclimate and the alkaline rocky soil is ideal for truffles, so the inoculated trees can be planted with little soil preparation. As you can see, most of the possible host trees are native and already present in the area. To complement it, truffle orchards benefit tremendously from being surrounded by endomycorrhizal behaving plants, as they protect the mycelium from competition, so all levels of other plants were chosen accordingly. The guild includes rosemary as protection, clover as a ground cover and nitrogen fixer, and it also serves as chicken feed, to support the fruit-producing plants. For the swale guild, about the terraces, we went with wild mint and lavender to round up junipers that are already growing on the slope. For Anna's land, black and white truffles were selected, for experimental reasons on the one hand, and because their host trees produce other goods just as hazel and pine nuts, this way maximizing the functionality of the limited space available. Perfection can be rushed, and these lovely truffles take time and care to blossom. Here's a breakdown of their timeline. The first year, planting hemp cleans up any competing mycorrhizae. It also serves as building material and as food, both for people and animals, in the form of hemp seeds. If there would be any heavy metal contamination, hemp can also clean it up. But in this case, the plant is not edible anymore. In the second year, soil preparation and planting takes place. Inoculated trees and shielding plants all get to their final designated spot. From the third year, maintenance work starts. Accounting for climate change, some irrigation might be needed, chicken grazing to maintain ground cover and to serve as pest control, pruning to prevent overshadowing and ensure right growth for fruiting and timber needs. The first harvest might occur somewhere between the 5th and 7th year, depending on the variety of the truffle. From then on, the last harvest of any given year is left in the ground to maintain the health and productivity of the mycelium network, with planting different harvested throughout most of the year.
Our community will include chickens to yield companionship, eggs, pest control and fertilizer, while benefiting from the compost being scraps and critters and their surrounding foodscape. Their mobile compact shelter ensures they need for shade in summer and warmth in winter and security from wildlife. Meanwhile, they can be carted around to areas that can benefit from their pecking. The goats will provide milk, fertilizer and benefit from the natural foliage while they help Anna manage by grazing wild zone 4 and 5 and 3. From their bounty, we can include the community and guests in seminars on butter and cheese making.
This design maximizes energy with solar pumps, gravity-fed water systems, natural filtering processes, composting toilets, and hot showers using composting bins from Anna's beautiful land. We give back what we take. Creating an efficient compost heap is an essential aspect to the farm. All animal, food, and natural waste will provide energy for its surrounding, improving soil health, nutrient recycling, microbial activity, weed and pest control. These natural processes create fertilizer as well as a heat for shower water. By strategically placing water pipes within a compost pile, we can capture this heat and use it to warm water. This method provides a renewable source of hot water for domestic use, from showering to heating greenhouses, all while reducing waste and increasing incentive to throw the orange peel outside instead.
Here's a general breakdown of our project timeline. In general, first priorities include prepping the existing site to maximize on-site use of materials and resources, like rocks and clay for building, and to begin earthworks and planning for water retention. Secondary will be planting species to tenderize and season the site's soil for the upcoming bounty it will produce and sustain. Thirdly is beginning to build structures and capacity for community growth, like the outdoor kitchen, energy creation, compost showers, toilets, and gray water treatment systems. In the third and fourth year, we will be more organized planting of the fruit guilds and annual planting as yields of community and on-site production come in. Observation, patience, and heartfelt engagement in every step will make the design true to the mission and vision, and to permaculture itself. Here is a generalized breakdown of the social ecology timeline and steps. First, we'll be gathering locals for the growth of Anna's design from scratch. Meanwhile, research will identify government and non-government funding, grants, as we prep for the site to host more people from further away. Advertisement from every involved person will help Anna spread the word and build energy for the mission. In the end, Anna will be settled, surrounded by a thriving community of new friends, plant, animal, and human alike. People will leave being inspired and spread the warm flame of integrated community as a model of community building that can happen anywhere.
I'm optimistic that due to the fact that Silimna is close to Athens, 2 hours away, and the main town Tripoli, 10 minutes away, and with the cooperation of the volunteers, the refugees, the guests that will come to stay, the advertisement through various means, word of mouth, social media, websites, etc., and the local community involved in organizing a big festival, we will manage to revive the village. Who will say no to safety, beauty, healthy food, tranquility, nature, knowledge, and opportunity to learn? Our design will integrate people exploring, sharing, and celebrating their roots while planting roots and tapping into the sea of creative, life-giving abundance all around them. This is a mission destined to grow far beyond my home plot or even the village. It's all about integrating refugees, clients, youth, and local community.